Hey everyone, this is Sensei Billy here. Excited to be here with you all. I've been having fun on my own doing the videos that Sensei's posted, so I was really excited when he offered the opportunity to come in and do this one with everybody. So I'm looking forward to getting a good workout in today, practicing some of our training and working on a few kumite drills, as well as some kata and some bunkai. So today I want to do both the beginner class and the advanced class. So if the advanced students kind of want to skip through some of the beginner techniques, that's fine, but I still think it would be good to do a review of our Pinan Nidan kata as well as some of the kumite drills that we're going to do with the beginner class. Same thing with my beginner intermediate students. If you guys want to drop off after your class, that's fine. But even better, if you want to stay and learn some of the advanced kata, we're going to do Pinan Yondan, and then we'll walk through step by step a couple of bunkai techniques there. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll bow in. And bow to you guys too. Right. Okay, so for our warm-up today, I know Sensei's been working on a lot of karate-type drills, but what I wanted to work on was a little bit more athletic-type drills. We'll do some things to get our whole body nice and warm. I know I had some fun with our hip-hop Kibadachi edition where we were kind of moving around. May have got some funny looks at home for that one, but it was still kind of fun. So we'll do something a little bit different today. The first thing I want to start off with is a nice squat. So what I want is your feet are going to be about shoulder width apart, toes slightly canted out, and we'll do a couple together. So I'm going to sit down and stand up. And two, and up, san, and up, shi, up. You notice as I do this, I'm going to kind of extend my hands out, keep my back nice and straight, and sit down. If I go sideways, while you guys are still going, I want to get my thighs about parallel to the mat, standing up and sitting down. Nice leg warm up there. And you can keep going on your own for a little bit if you feel like you want to do a little bit more. Otherwise, we're going to add just a little bit to this squat. So from here, I'm going to squat down. Once I'm in the down position here, I'm going to reach for the mat and do an inchworm. I'm going to walk myself out to a plank and walk myself back in, stand up. Squat down, walk myself out, walk myself back in, and up. Down, walking out. And again, when I'm in this plank, I want to have a nice solid position, squeeze my stomach, squeeze my butt, and then standing back up. Down, walk my hands out, and back in. So let's go ahead and add a little bit to our inchworm here. So we're going to squat, walk my hands out. From here, what I want to do is a push-up. But when I do this push-up, what I want to do is I want to go all the way down to the mat, pick my hands up, push back up, and then walk in. So we're going to do a squat, inchworm, hands off, push up, and back in. Very good. Keep going. Squat, hands off, push up, and back in. So go ahead and do a couple more of those while we talk a little bit about the next one. So next what I want to work on is some core strength. So we're going to do a little bit of a plank drill here. So what I want everyone to start off in here, our push-up position, a nice high plank, hands under the shoulders. Again, I want to squeeze my core nice and tight while I do this, and we're just going to hold here for a second. Give yourself a few seconds, feel this position. Again, trying to squeeze all the muscles in my body, make a nice amount of tension. You can probably hear it in my voice a little bit as I squeeze here. So from here, what I want to work on is moving from this high plank to a nice low plank position. So I'm going to come down, I'm going to take my left hand, drop down to my forearm, take my right hand down to that other forearm, and then I'm going to come back up. And I'm going to go ahead and alternate my hands as I move from a high plank to a low plank position here while I keep my body nice and tight. The other thing that we want to focus on in this drill is that I'm not wobbling my hips too much as I come down, right? I want to try and keep my hips as close to even as possible as I move up and I move down here. Got it? And up. Go ahead and keep doing that on your own a little bit. So our next drill, and continue doing the planks while I talk, is we're going to work on a mountain climber. So everybody knows what our mountain climber is. I want to kind of get that lower half in while I get my upper body going too. So everyone go ahead and meet me in this high plank position here. And all we're going to do is bring those knees up to our chest in a mountain climber position here. Go ahead on your own. Give me about 20 of these. And when you're done, go ahead here, meet me in Seiza. All right? Let's give you guys a couple more seconds to finish up your set of mountain climbers. So now we should have a good, nice, full body workout. Got some push-ups, got some core work in, some lower half in. So our body should be nice and warm, ready to go for class. And let's just finish our warm-up up with some stretching here. So we'll start with our normal stretches. So go ahead and meet me here. Sorry, I'm getting used to this crisscross reverse angle camera stuff. So I'll do my right leg, you guys do your left. We'll count here for 15. Ready? Ichi, ni, san, shi, go, rikyu, sich, hach, kyu, ju, juich, juni, jusan, jushi, jugo. Good. And other side, you guys do your right. I'll do my left again. Down for another 15. Ready? Ichi, ni, san, shi, go, rikyu, sich, hach, kyu, ju, juich, juni, jusan, jushi, jugo. Very good. Bring your feet in for butterflies. Again, butterflies, I want my feet together. I want to pull them into my body, pushing my feet down, leaning forward into that stretch. But I want to keep my back nice and straight while I do that. So go ahead and meet me here. We're going to count for another 15. Ready? Ichi, ni, san, shi, go, ruku, sich, hach, kyu, ju, juich, juni, jusan, jushi, jugo, juruku, jusich, juhach, jukyu, niju. I said 15, but I did 20. Just seeing if you guys were paying attention. Again, Sensei doesn't make mistakes while he's up at the front of class, right? Right? All right, down to the left for another 15 in our scissor stretch here. I'll do my right. Ichi, ni, san, shi, go, ruku, sich, hach, kyu, ju, juich, juni, jusan, jushi, jugo. Other side, 15 more. Ichi, ni, san, shi, go, ruku, sich, hach, kyu, ju, juich, juni, jusan, jushi, jugo. And down to the middle for another 15. Ready? Ichi, ni, san, shi, go, ruku, sich, hach, kyu, ju, juich, juni, jusan, jushi, jugo. All right, go ahead and bring feet in, shake them out a little bit. So the nice thing about training at home is you guys get to train at your own pace. So if you feel like there's some more stretches you want to do, maybe you want to work in some stretch kicks, maybe you want to do some more dynamic stretching, feel free to pause the video, go ahead and do that now. We are going to work on some kicks today, so it might be a good idea if you want to pause and continue your stretch. Or, you can always pause and get a drink if you need one at this point in time. Otherwise, let's get right into class. So the first drill I want to work on today is kind of a walking drill. If you guys are familiar or you've been to Sensei Nick Mayer's class, he likes to do this drill a lot. I think it's a good drill to work on some hip movement. So what I'm going to do is we're all going to start in our hikadachi position here. Remember, hikadachi, I want knees straight, nice strong posture, hands in front of me. So for this drill, what I want to do is I'm going to take basically a step forward. I'm going to have you guys do your left, I'll do my right. So I'm going to take a step forward. You guys can use your left leg. A nice distance here, like a normal walking pace. And all I'm going to have you do from here is pivot your hips. So I'm going to pivot them. I'm going to my left. You guys should be moving to your right. And then from here, I'm going to do the same thing. Take a step forward and pivot my hips. So now we should be facing back to back. Step forward and pivot our hips. Now I'm facing the wall over here. Step forward and pivot my hips. If you'd like, you guys can keep going. I would recommend that. Go ahead and do a couple circles there. You can pause the video now or keep going while I talk. That's just fine. If you pause, what we're going to work on is going to the other direction. So now I'm going to step forward my left leg. You should be on your right. So stepping forward here. I'm going to pivot to my right. You guys should be pivoting to your left and pivot. So now we're working in the opposite direction. Again, step forward and pivot my hips. With my back leg, I'm going to step forward and pivot. Step forward and pivot. And then I'm back into my Haymaker stance. Go ahead, if you're having some trouble or struggling with that, go ahead, pause, rewind, run through that a couple times on your own. Now, if you're ready to move forward, we're going to add just a little bit to that drill and kind of turn it into more of a kicking drill, getting ready for our yokogiri. Yokogiri. Hopefully you guys are thinking in your head, what is the English name for yokogiri right now? So you should be thinking about that. Everyone should know our yokogiri is our back leg side kick. So I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit to this drill. So we're going to start in hikarachi again here. Now, the first time we went through this, what I did was I took a step, planted my feet, and I did my pivot. What I want to do this time around is instead of taking a step, I'm going to bring my knee up into my chest. So that knee is going to come into my chest, and then I'm going to do that same pivot that I just did. And you'll notice when I did that pivot, I stayed looking forward. I didn't turn my head to the side. I'm going to continue looking forward. So we're changing that drill up just a bit. So again, I'm in my hikarachi. I'm going to bring my knee up instead of stepping, knee up and pivot. And I should be sideways, just like we did when we did our pivot drill. So the difference here is I've got my foot up in the air sideways instead of being in this walking stance sideways, just like that. So go ahead on your own a few times, bring that knee up and get that little pivot in, right? Knee up and pivot. So if you want, go ahead and pause the video. You can keep working on that leg. Otherwise, we're going to do the same thing on our other leg. So knee up and pivot my hips, just like my walking stance where I step forward and pivot. Again, knee up and pivot. So a couple of things I want to point out while I'm doing this pivot drill is as I pivot, I want to try and get this back foot pointed behind me. So if I come up nice and close where you can see my back foot, I'll stand about right here. You can see my back foot. I'm going to bring that knee up and pivot. You'll see, where did that foot go? It's now behind me, which is what's going to set us up for that side kick. So knee up and pivot. And I've got my foot, again, behind me. So go ahead and work on that a little bit, making sure we're focusing on where that pivoting, where that back foot is. Go ahead and run through that a few times. Once you got it, let's talk about the front leg. So as I do that little pivot, where do I want my front leg, the knee that's up in the air? So I'm going to stand sideways here so you can see it. What I want to do is I want to almost point that knee behind me. So I want to chamber that knee into my chest as I lose my balance there, pointed behind me, getting ready for my kick that's going to extend out that way. So one more time, knee up, chamber, see it's nice and tight into my chest, getting ready for that kick that's going to go out sideways. And I can set it down. Again, on the other leg, I'll spin around. I got my knee up, pivot, extending that kick out, getting ready for that. Make sense? So let's work on that kick. We're just going to come up and down the floor a couple times. Maybe you got to turn sideways at home. You got more room that way. Or you can keep coming straight with me. So we're going to actually do the kick. So what I want you guys to start in is our left guarding stance. Hopefully you guys ki at home because that's how we run it in class. Honor system though, if you forgot your ki, I want 5 push-ups. All right, so starting in our hikarachi, and I want left guarding stance. Ah! Nice strong ki. So from here, just like that little walking drill we did, I'm going to bring my back leg up into my chest and fire my hips around here. So I'm in this position, knee chamber, back foot behind me, extending that kick out, and then I'm going to set it down in front of me. So question, who knows what the foot form is on that back leg side kick or that yokogiri as that's going out? Hopefully everyone said we're kicking with the heel or that blade edge, the knife edge of the foot, pulling my toes back up behind me. All right, so we should have right leg forward here now. Again, ready? Knee, up, and kicking straight out. San, straight out. And again, we're gonna set those feet down in front of us in a nice guarding stance. I'm gonna back up because I'm running out of space. You might have to at home as well. We don't want you kicking furniture, brothers, sisters, parents, anything like that. Make sure you got a lot of space around you. So your knee up and kicking out. Again, pause the video, run through those a few times, really thinking about your foot form and that knee positioning, chambering that into our body. So I want to work on a nice drill where we can combine some of our kumite with our bunkai. And in my mind, when we work on bunkai, really we should be trying to work it into not just an ippon kumite type situation, but kumite situations as well, our sparring drills. So what I'm going to have you do, if you have a kicking shield at home, that would be great. You'll need a partner as well. If you don't have a kicking shield, what you can do is you can maybe grab a pillow from the couch or something like that, or from your bed. But if you guys get in trouble for kicking pillows, don't tell your parents this was my fault. That's all on you from here on out. So what I'm going to have you guys do is your partner will hold the bag, and they're going to kind of walk in nice and slowly. So what this will give me the opportunity to do as a kicker is work on some of my timing and my critical distancing. Does anyone know what critical distancing is in Japanese? That's our ma'ai, right? The distance of where my technique is effective. So again, I'll have your partner hold the bag, and what they're going to do is kind of start outside, and they'll walk in nice and slowly. So he's going to walk in towards me, and I'm going to have to kick the bag once he gets to a particular position. So he's walking in, and I'm going to throw my side kick out there nice and fast. Again, and nice and fast. So one thing to think about though, at home, again, we're not in the dojo, especially for those that don't have the proper training tools, we have to work on our control. So it's not always just about how hard I can kick. I have to have control and not hurt my partner, especially if we're using some of these pillows and things like that. Another thing to keep in mind as we do this drill is I want to make sure that I throw this kick right in the right spot. If I throw it too soon, I don't hit my target. If I wait too long, I can't get my knee up and throw that kick. I have to be right in the right spot to throw that kick and knock him off of me. So go ahead, work on that drill. Do about 5 to 10 per side, and then switch partners if you have to. But go ahead and pause now, and then we'll jump in and we'll add this to more of a kumite situation. So once you've got your drill done, we can set the bag off to the side, and we're going to work in a bit of kumite, and also, like I said, some bunkai for my advanced students. So I've got my attacker here. What he's going to do is he's going to throw a jab. It could be a jab, it could be a cross, but for right now today, it's going to be the jab. So he's coming in and he's throwing that jab right to my face. Now what I want to do, kind of like that walking drill, I want to time this so that I'm throwing my kick before he makes contact with me, and I'm stopping that attack. So that's coming in, and I'm going to throw that side kick out there nice and quick. Again, and that side kick's coming out there nice and quick. So one of the reasons that I like side kick, it's one of my personal favorite techniques. Again, I'm not one of the tallest people in the dojo. There's a lot of people with long arms, long legs. So sometimes it's hard for me to get inside, but I like this technique because just about everybody in the dojo, their arms are shorter than my legs. So it's an opportunity where I can use their size kind of against them, and it lets me lean back a little bit. So what I want you to do, once you've got that piece down, we're going to add to that a little bit. For my advanced students, this is kind of where our Pinan Yondan bunkai comes into play. So you'll notice, as he throws that jab, I'm extending my side kick out, but I've got this little check here up in the air. I'm checking with my hand. I'm not doing a big block and knocking it out of the way or anything like that. All I'm doing is extending this hand up here for this check, kind of making sure that even though I'm outside of the range, I'm still defending myself. So that's another piece we want to add on to that. So go ahead and work that check in back and forth. Again, you can pause the video here. Once you got that, we're going to add a nice little counter strike onto the end of this. So again, for my advanced students in kind of Pinan Yondan, right, I'm in my Masudachi, extend that kick out, and then I move in for that Enpyuchi. But in this situation, I'm a little too far out for that Enpyuchi. Sure, I can move in and I can fire in really really hard and fast and throw that MP uchi, but I gotta be inside to do that. So we can add one of our other techniques from the May curriculum, which is our height uchi, or our ridge hand. So remember that height uchi is gonna extend straight out and then curve down at the end. Straight out and curve down. Again, our target being the jawline. So I'm here, that height uchi is coming out and curving down into the jaw. Make sense? One of the things I like to do as I throw that height uchi is kind of a crunch with my side, where I'm crunching down, turning my body into that technique. So we can put all that together. The attack comes in, fire the kick, and then I'm throwing that height uchi again in there. Now, hopefully at home, everyone is using nice strong ki-eyes. I like to say in class our outdoor voices, not our indoor voices. This is an excuse you can tell your parents, I told you to be loud here. So I want to hear nice strong ki-eyes, but I'm talking, so it's hard to ki-eye and talk at the same time. I need some of those ventriloquist type skills, which I don't have. So go ahead, work that drill with your partner, moving around. Again, this is more of a kumite setting than an actual ippon kumite where I'm in a rigid stance. So feel free, in that nice guarding stance, you can move around, throw your counter strikes, working back and forth with your partner. Pause the video here, work about 5 to 10 on each side, and then meet me back here, and we'll run through Kata Pinan Nidan. If you need to get a drink, go ahead and do that too. So when you're ready, we're going to go ahead and start our Kata Pinan Nidan. Again, my advanced students, if you guys feel that you've got this down and you don't have time to go through the whole video, you can skip into Pinan Yondan, but I always think it's good to review all of my Pinan katas. So this month for the beginner intermediate class, we have to do the second half of Kata Pinan Nidan. If you're struggling with the first half, go back, watch some of Sensei Aldis' previous videos where we covered the first half. I'll do a quick review in this class, but I'm not going to do the whole thing and talk about a lot of details. So, starting from Hikadachi, yoi, nice and strong. So our first opening move, ichi, ni, san, shi, go, rikyu, sich, hach, kyu, ae. All right, so there's our first half of the kata. From here, we're going to work on the second half. Again, this is where really the curriculum is focused for the month of May. So make sure you're working on this part of the kata, you're tracking your training so you can get your May stripe in. So we're going to start in our nice strong Zen Statue Stance, high block. What I want to do for my next move is I'm going to pivot looking at the corner behind me. So I'm going to bring my left leg in. As I do that, I want to bring my left arm in, winding up for my Gidanbare. Again, that Gidanbare, or low block, I want to make sure I'm covering the center of my body, make sure I'm covering those vital targets as I draw that block in. From here, extending out Gidanbare to the corner, followed by our Junsuke. Moving over to our other corner, I'm going to bring my lead leg back into center. Again, pulling those arms in, getting ready for that Gidanbare strike, where I've got my center nice and protected as I turn over to this corner. So just in case maybe my timing's not right, I've still got my body pretty well protected as I'm moving in to my Gidanbare and Junsuke. All right, so from here, my left leg is going to move in to center. Again, same thing we've talked about a few times, where I'm covering my body up, getting ready for that Gidanbare strike down to the center, followed by our 3 punches. Remember the timing on these punches, I want to get that good 1, 2, 3 cadence as opposed to 1, 2, 3, that monotonous type. So again, each, ni, san, nice strong ki-eye on that last punch. I'll back up a little bit. Maybe you guys are running out of space at home too. So I'm here in my right side forward Zen Statue Stance. I'm going to bring my back leg in, winding up for my Chudan Shutuke. Again, these Chudan Shutuke, right, I'm not fully extending my arms here. I want to bring that hand into center so that as I pivot towards the front of the dojo, I've got my hands protected. So bringing those hands in and that Chudan Shutuke back towards the front corner where we started. So if I face this direction, I can kind of give you guys another angle. So I just did my third punch. As I turn back to you, that back leg is coming in, that Chunan Shutuke winding up, not quite Gidambari where my hand's nice and low, but up more, protecting the center of my body as I extend that Chunan Shutuke out. Again, Chunan Shutuke, I want a nice bend in my elbow, hand even with my shoulder, and that bottom hand pointing up. Take a look at those fingers, make sure those fingers are tucked in nice and tight, they're not hanging out there for anyone to grab. Okay? So, again, one more time facing this way, that back foot's coming in, and Chunan Shutuke, so it should be left side facing the front angle, stepping forward, another Chunan Shutuke, drawing back into center, just like all of my other turns as I extend out on this angle, and my fourth Chunan Shutuke coming back to center where I'm in my Heikadachi stance. Make sense? So I'm going to count through the kata one more time, a little bit faster so we can kind of do it together. And I'll go ahead and face you guys this time. So I'm going to be backward this time. So starting in my nice strong Heikadachi, announce my kata. Kata Pinan Nidan! Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rikyu, sich, hach, kyu, ae, chu, juich, junik, jusan, jushi, go, jurik, sich, ae, juhachi, kyu, nichu, juich, and mate. Back to center. I think I might have messed up my counting there, but that's okay. The idea is we want to get through that kata with a good cadence, good timing. So for my beginner intermediate students, that's all we had to cover today. So if you guys want to drop off, that's fine. Otherwise, if you're up for a challenge, which I know everybody's always up for a challenge, we're going to go ahead and work on some advanced techniques. So we're going to work on Kata Pinan Yondan, as well as some bunkai in Kata Pinan Yondan. And then we'll go ahead and finish class and bow out. So for all my advanced students that are leaving, okay, great. And thank you for joining me. All right, advanced students, let's jump right into our kata. Similar to Pinan Nidan, we're working on the second half of Pinan Yondan this month. So I'll count through the first half pretty quick, and then we'll move into the second half of the kata. So go ahead with me. Go. Kata Pinan Yondan. Ich, ni, san, shi, go. Rikyu, sichi, hach, kyu, ju, hai, juich, junin, jusan, jushi, go, jurikyu, jusichi, juhach, jukyu, and ichu. And mate. Okay, so I ran through the whole kata there nice and quick so we could kind of see where we're going. But let's kind of slow down that second half of the kata a bit now, and we'll talk through some of those techniques. So starting off, we have that uriken to the front of the mat. I'm facing the other way. But what I like to think about in this stance is that Niku Ashidachi moving off behind me. So I'm nice and low in this stance. Bonus points if anyone knows what this stance is. If you said Kosudachi, you got it. So again, I'm nice and low in this stance. I'm going to kind of sneak my back leg out behind me to make space for my turn so I can pivot into my Niku Ashidachi and then draw back away. So I'll try one more time facing this way. Again, sneaking that back foot behind me, pivoting, drawing back into my Niku Ashidachi, sitting down in that stance. We talk a lot about Niku Ashidachi, changing the eye, changing our distancing. So from here, I've got my Maigiri, set it down, punch, punch. Both punches to our solar plexus. I don't want to see any of these punches out here to our shoulders, right? We're always targeting that solar plexus. Moving over to the other angle, drawing back, again, moving away, that Ikuashidashi stance, moving back, changing the ma'ai. So from here, changing my ma'ai, and I just noticed I did the big circles, which I hate when I see that in class. So moving into my Ikuashidashi, Soto Uke, followed by my Gary and my double punch to the solar plexus. Make sense? So this next part of the kata, those three Murotuke, that's kind of where I want to talk a little bit about our bunkai, which we'll get into in a second, but kind of be thinking about that as we go through this segment, right? What are we doing here as I punch it through, right? So left side forward, I've got my punch out there, drawing back in, squaring off. Remember, when we square off, I want both fists pointed up, a nice gap between. I don't want to get lazy with this one at all. So squaring off for my Murotuke, driving that double forearm block out. My second Murotuke, again, driving that out. And the third, driving that Murotuke out. And again, I want to get that power coming from my hips. So my hips and arms connected. All right, so my next position here, I'm going to shoot both of my hands up, make the nice tight fist, drive that knee strike in. One of the things I like to talk about in this stance is after that knee strike, I want to try and set this foot down as close to my other foot as possible. I like to think of it as kind of a heisokodachi, but we can kind of, you know, it's kind of up to you guys. But I like to come into this heisokodachi, so I'm in a nice balanced position. Knees bent, solid, back up straight, getting ready for my next Murotuke back up to the front. So I'm up at the front, I'll turn around so we can kind of see, drawing in Murotuke into that kake, back into my Ikuashidachi. So for my long Zen Kuchidachi, head level Murotuke, kake, making that half moon shape with my foot and my hand simultaneously. All right, the next motion is the only time I will ever tell you to cross your feet in any of our katas. That's another one of my pet peeves, is when I see people fight and they're crossing their feet up, because that gets you kind of tangled up. But this turn here, moving over on the 45, is about the only time we actually see this in kata. So again, I'm moving across. As I'm doing so, I'm winding up for that head level Murotuke again, drawing in kake. And from here, back to Heikadachi. Okay, so go ahead, practice it on your own a couple times. Maybe you want to rewind to when I went through it a little bit faster and you can count through it again with me. Otherwise, we're going to jump right into some bunkai for that segment down the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and face this way, and we'll talk about that segment again. So I'm in my Hikadachi, I step forward, Zen Kuchidachi Murotuke, Zen Kuchidachi Murotuke, Zen Kuchidachi Murotuke, knee strike, Murotuke. Okay? So there's three blocks in there, right? Murotuke is a block, right? Kind of. It can be. The other thing I want you to think about is, why would I use a Murotuke instead of just a Sotuke? Right? Sotuke is one hand. It leaves this other hand free for me to throw different techniques, counter strikes. So why am I using double hands where I'm tying up this strike in front of me? So when I think about this technique, and we're going to go into more of the Ippon Kumite type bunkai. So I have Sensei Aldis here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have my attacker come in with, you know, the most common, we're on YouTube right now, but the most common punch you see on YouTube in any of those school fights is that big Haymaker Punch, right? That hand, he's going to start out here with that big Haymaker Punch. Now, if I wanted to do a Sotuke right here, you know, extending this hand outside of me, that's a lot of power to try and stop with just that one hand. So what's likely to happen here is I might get that block out, but he's going to blow right through that block. So how do I defend such a powerful strike? That's kind of where our Murotuke comes into play. And I would encourage you now, if you have never done this before, go ahead and get that Murotuke position and feel your back, your big lat muscles there. Feel how those are able to tense up in that Murotuke position versus just the Sotuke. And that's really where that support comes from, these big back muscles. It's not necessarily that I have this hand here and I can kind of push back, but I can get my whole body into this block. So as that Haymaker comes in, I'm going to start in kind of a half guarding stance a little bit here. I want one leg forward. Again, we're not gonna get in a fight like this and I'm ready. You know, we wanna be in a good defensible position. Maybe I got my hands up saying, I don't wanna fight, I don't wanna fight, right? This is how we should be approaching these situations. I don't wanna be the aggressor attacking, but in a defensible position. I don't wanna fight, you know, leave me alone. So as that haymaker comes in, what I wanna do is I wanna shuffle in and try to get inside of that punch. Before he gets to the power here, I wanna get inside of that punch with my Muroduke. So you'll notice, rather than winding up here, chambering at my side, I came straight out. And instead of bringing my arms across in a circle, like we do in the kata, I brought my shoulders across in that circle. So pivoting my body, blading my body, if we go a little bit this way, right? So you can see my shoulders are nice and square. My shoulders are square with him. As that comes in, I'm turning my body into this first punch, defending that punch. I like to even tuck my chin in under my arm to make sure my head's protected. So from here, he's not just gonna stand here and let me do my next technique. What's he gonna do? He might wind up with this hand, or he's probably gonna throw that second punch in there because he's really trying to get me. So I'm in 1 and 2. Now, you'll see what happened there is I was able to get even closer. Now we're really, really close. From that second Muroduke where I took a little shuffle, and then I was able to drive in, same concept, not winding up, but extending straight out with that Muroduke. So I got 1 and 2, and I'm really tight here. So now, and I bet you guessed it, my next technique is gonna be that third Muroduke, but I wanna tweak it just a little bit. Again, that's what we get to do with bunkai. We get to change the kata to the situation, right? Frichi Sensei talks about that one a lot. I think that's helped me in my training a lot personally. So I've got my first, my second, the third Muroduke. What I want to do is I've got this supporting hand. I'm actually going to turn it around. I'm going to turn it 180 degrees this way, and I'm going to drive that forearm into into his neck here, into this area. Maybe the brachial artery. Maybe I can get a nice, quick, stunning motion here. So again, one more time. Ich, ni, san. And I've got that third strike in there, driving back. So this is a quick, tight 1, 2, 3. Key is getting my stance right. I'm in almost a sanchindachi, and then driving that forearm into that neck area where I'm able to quickly make those tight turns, moving in straight. All right? So from here, right, I'm in nice and tight. I threw this strike. What's our next technique in the kata? The next technique in my kata is that hand sneaks up and I throw that knee strike in here, but I've already got my hand this way, so all I really have to do is grab a hold of him, and this second hand can come underneath, and I drive that knee strike in there. Bam. Make sense? So again, from the top, I've got 1, shuffle, shuffle, strike, knee strike, and I'm in nice and tight here. So for those of you at home, the next piece of this may not be great, especially if you're on maybe a basement floor or a hardwood floor. Probably not a great, even carpet. This would be tough. But when we're back in the dojo, definitely come find me. We can work on the next piece of this, which I'm going to add a little bit of a throw in here. So following that knee strike, like I talked about in the kata, I'm going to plant my foot, and I'm going to come into this next Muroduke to the front. But what could that be in my bunkai? So I threw my knee strike in here, boom. Right from here, I've got a hold of this inside lapel, right? So a real common throw that they use a lot in judo is they come into these lapels and they'll grab nice and tight. So I've got a hold of that lapel. If I want, if he's got a t-shirt on, I can sneak this hand in underneath. But from here, I'm gonna extend my hips in and throw. And then I've got him, boom, finishing my Ippon Kumite. So again, that's not exactly how our technique is in the kata, but this is what we use in bunkai. We adapt the kata to our situation. So go ahead, have fun with that, play with that at home. Again, the throw, probably not the best idea at home, but definitely come find me when you get back in the dojo, and we can talk a little bit more about that throw. So, arigato, thank you very much. So I had a lot of fun today coming up to the dojo here. Hopefully you do too, and you can see I've got the quarantine COVID haircut going on right now, which I'm hoping to see a whole bunch of you guys at the dojo, you know, in the next few weeks here with similar puffy hair minus the haircut. So the last thing I want to talk about today is the 7th feather here on our dojo crest. Does anybody know what that 7th feather is? If you said respect, you got it, you nailed it. So I think respect is a really important thing for us to understand as martial artists, even you know, outside of the dojo, not necessarily just in here. Like, yes, we do a lot of things involving respect. We bow. You know, I just bowed to Sensei Aldis for helping me demonstrate some of these one steps. But outside of the dojo, respect is important as well. I think it might be a little bit more subtle outside the dojo than inside of the dojo, right? I don't know many people that in the streets we do big kneeling bows to each other, but respect can be as simple as listening to your parents, right? They tell you to go clean your room. You don't have to have a big deep bow and thank you, Mom, thank you, Father, for putting a room on it. Maybe you just go do it. Or they ask you to take the trash out, you know, things like that. As adults, I think a lot of us have this sense that people aren't as respectful anymore, especially nowadays where there's a lot of kind of tension around us because of the environment and the world that we're living in these uncertain times, where, you know, people are a little bit more frustrated, a little bit more anxious, and we forget about things like respect, right? You know, we forget about, you know, everybody else around us is in that same situation that we are. So yes, we're frustrated. Yes, this is really difficult, but not losing sight of being respectful, being courteous, and following through with this dojo crest, even though maybe emotionally we're not there. So respect is, you know, one of my favorite. I don't think I can say I have a favorite. I'm probably all tied for first, but I think it's a really important thing not to lose sight of here. So let's go ahead and bow out. Say, Kyusuke, ready, and Shinzen. Kyusuke, Shinzen, ready. All right, hopefully you guys had fun. I had a lot of fun, and we'll see you soon.